Hey everyone, Egman here with another video, and today we're going to look at my starter deck Vegito list, which uses the new Universe 6 stuff that comes out in Saiyan Showdown in a couple of weeks. Honestly, I just kind of threw this list together for my subathon that I was doing my past weekend, but I played it a lot and I really did enjoy it. If you guys also want to see some gameplay of this list in action and with my editing and everything, get this video to 50 likes and I will do a re-upload from my massive stream that I had this past weekend. But let's kind of go into it and what's this leader and kind of why I chose this, because this is not a, I guess, traditional Universe 6 leader. But there's just a lot of synergies that I really like, and I think makes this a really good leader for the archetype in general. So, simple on the front side, when this card attacks, draw 1, and then also if it's your opponent's turn, when one of your blue Unison cards would be placed in your drop area, or one of your blue battle cards is removed from your battle area by opponent's skill or KO'd, you can flip this card over, and if you do, draw 2. And then it has a pretty much the same auto on the backside with once per turn if it's your opponent's turn, whenever your blue Unison cards are placed in your drop area, your battle cards, etc., is KO'd, switch up to one of your mono blue energy to active mode and draw 1. So it's mono blue, which is important. We are running blue yellow, but mono blue. It also has the same, auto when this card attacks, draw 1, and also a really nice active battle, which something that's I find is really strong is if the leader itself has a win condition, and it's not necessarily a win condition for itself, but it has an active battle for 2 blue. It's not once per turn either. Choose one of your blue Unison cards that gets plus 10k power and triple strike for the battle. Very powerful there, being able to give your, you can keep boosting it up too. So even if you're playing something that's hand destruction that, you don't have a lot of cards, if you can put it on your Unison, you can, get additional 20 or maybe even 30k if you have 6 energy to tap for it. I think it'd be very, very strong. And honestly, the win condition in itself, especially since, it's very difficult for Unison interaction. Obviously a little bit easier when this leader first came out, but Unison interaction's a little bit more limited compared to battle cards, leader cards, etc. So that's kind of the idea for the deck. Be able to just be really grindy in what you're doing, and then you can kind of finish the game with a bunch of sources, including a Unison finish. So that's the idea. And so to awaken this leader, we have 2 of the Dr. Rhoda, 2 blockers, 4 of the Dr. Rhoda and 4 of the Oob Power of Hope. Both these guys are blockers, and they have good effects as well. Dr. Rhoda, when this card is KO'd, choose up to one of your blue energy and switch it to active mode. This can bleed blue-yellow, and also this is a Universe 6 card, which is really, really nice for obvious reasons, which means he's just really searchable in the deck, and everything else is just a really good boon to have. And then we also have the Oob Power of Hope. If you have a blue Unison card in play, when this card is played, you get to draw a card, which is also very nice. You get free cycle from there, and then when it dies, you get an untap and draw 1, so that's cool. And the Unison that we have primarily is the Frieza and Cell, a match made in Heck. It's a Rejuvenate leader, which should almost never come up, but also auto. Once per turn, when a card in a battle area is returned to its owner's hand by a skill, draw 1 card, then choose choose 1 card in your hand, place it to the top or bottom of your deck, which also rarely comes up, but it's strictly this +1 active main. Choose up to 1 blue battle card in your hand with any cost of 1 and play it. So that is the idea here, and you can just play one of these for free on like turn 2. You also have a bunch of other 1-drops in this list that are just good for the list anyways, so it just gains that extra value for what you're doing. You can run other stuff. I just chose this as my 2 Unison, and in general, I think the core of this deck is very strong, and if you guys want to make your own individual changes from there, I think it makes sense. But that's what we went for there, and that kind of just opens up the rest of the deck. So the kind of turn 1, you charge a blue-yellow, and then turn 2, you play a Frieza Cell, and then you play one of these 1-drops for free, and then they pop. You get the advantage from there. This Oob works very, very well with the Frieza Cell as well, with your doing that. So you play it for free, and you get the card draw, and then it's a blocker, so you get the additional 2 card draw as well when you awaken. That can be very, very good. So that's the idea there, and we can go from there. So the kind of more basic cards. So we have this Kale. Actually, let's talk about this Kale first. So auto when this card is played, look at top 5 cards of your deck. Add up to 1 blue Universe 6 card at any cost of 3 or less, or 1 blue Unison card at a specified cost of 2 among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this has a lot of targets. It finds itself. It finds your Dr. Rhoda. It finds your Frieza and Cell Unison. It finds pretty much all these other Universe 6 cards too, including this Kefla, your 2 of your super combos, and Kefla. So that's very good. Also, it has a for 1 blue active main, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add up to 1 blue Khalifa or Kefla among them to your hand, then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. It is once per turn, but you can do this. Top 3 is not guaranteed, but if you're really digging for a card, you can find... you have a couple targets for this. We have the 3 Khalifa right here. These are Keflas, and these are Keflas too, so you have 9 targets in the list. You don't use this as much, but it can be a kind of a dig if you need it. We're also running this Kale Timid Sister. This card can't be KO'd by your opponent's skill, which is kind of nice. In auto, when you play this card, choose up to 1 blue or yellow Universe 6 card from your drop area with energy cost of 3 or more added to your hand. So this can help you find Son Goku and Hit. You can also find Kabas, and this can also importantly find more copies of the Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, which is one of the big beaters in this list. This Kefla says double strike blocker. You play it for a rival for 2 blue and 1 yellow, and also auto, when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck, which is great. Being able to pop a card like that is good, especially at a active battle speed. And then also it has an active main limit 1. If your opponent has 3 more energy, you can choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. This card gains dual attack for the turn. If the card you discard with this skill is a copy of this card, draw 2 cards, then switch up to one of your opponent's cards to rest mode. What a great effect, and you know, we'll have a lot of these in your hand too, especially since they're a little bit trickier to get rid of, and that's kind of like why we want to play this Kale as well, because that can recycle them back without having to run more kind of bricky. These are, you know, obviously less bricky once you find these, and in general we find a lot of cycle with this Vegito leader. It's easy to get the Awakened Side ability to get the draw 1 and untap 1 each turn fairly consistently, especially since you're playing a lot of blockers, especially if you're playing them for free. Even if they pop your Unisons, then you get to get that effect off as well. All of these I think are very good at what they are, and can help you a whole lot in this kind of matchup. So and just the fact that this is also a blocker, and then if they want to pop it, or if they're showing you something with 30k or more, you can block it. It dies guaranteed, and then after that you can get the untap and draw 1, which is, I think, very nice. And that's kind of like the idea with this. We play just a bunch of blockers that can pop themselves. The Son Goku and Hit is just an extreme example of this. This is such a flexible card. I mean, it's been out for a long time, right? But it's such a good card in general. It's Universe 6, so you have that support. It's blue-yellow, but it's, you know, you play it for blue, which is what this color-leaning deck, you know, is leaning more to blue as a color than yellow, so that's very easy to get off as well. We do have also the Super Saiyan Kaba Proud Zenith, so it's a unique dual attack blocker. When this card is played, choose up to 1. If it's your turn, you get to draw 2 cards. If it's your opponent's turn, place up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and you cost 4 less to the bottom of its owner's deck, then switch to one of your blue energy to active mode, and also auto at the end of your turn, switch this card to active mode. This is just flexible in a lot of ways. We only run 2 of them, but he's also only a 5k, and you can cheat him out for 3 energy with the active main battle of if there are a total of 3 or more blue and or yellow cards in your battle area or combo area, play this card from your hand. So like if this is just like a, you know, 3 energy draw 2 dual attack or blocker, like that's just great. Like it's just so good at what it does, and it can really help the deck out a lot. So I like this card. I think it's cool. Maybe not enough to run it at more than 2 copies, but it has some flexibility, especially if, you know, we can have it pop, you know, on your opponent's turn, and then we can get the untap and draw, which is really, really nice. Some additional cards to look at here. We also have the Kefla. This is pretty easy to just play for active main for 1 blue. If you have a Khalifa and a Kale, you can play it from your hand, and then it's a draw 2, discard 1. Even paying 2 to draw 2, discard 1 on a 15k isn't terrible. We don't run a lot of Khalifas, but we do have these 3, so it's not too difficult to do it if you need to. You can maybe put it down. I don't know how solid this package is. If we're trying to find room for other things, that's probably the kind of first thing I'd look for, but I definitely do like the Keflas. I do like the Kabas too. They are very helpful. We're only running 2 of the Super Saiyan Trunks, and I could even see running less than that too. He's very good early game, but we also have the ability to run these Zamasus as well. These are obviously still fantastic counterplays for what they are. And additionally, if we do play the counterplay Trunks to do something, we can't play counter. Counterplays goes for the rest of the turn, so that means these Zamasus are locked out. So it's up to you. If you don't like these Zamasus, you can change them out, or if you still feel like, I mean, these are never truly dead because they can always be comboed or they can always be charged. But I do like being able to run these Zamasus. I think they're so strong at what they do, and we have so much energy untapped for what we're doing as well. Going through the rest of it, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The only other thing is that I think I really like the Majin Buu units. Obviously, this is a very strong card, and I think the only other card I'd choose is maybe we have some other Unisons. We'll actually go through them right now. We'll go over to the Unison bar. So if we go to blue Unisons, there's a couple more that I was thinking of, and I probably should have put in the side deck, but we're right here. And pretty much any Unison with dual attack is pretty strong at what it does, just because you can kind of pressure your opponent's leader with, you know, doing a triple strike or triple attack with your Unison. And if they can block one pretty easily, but if they have to block two, it's just a big resource dump. For example, you have the Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta, Super Warrior Evolution's dual attack. If your leader card is blue Saiyan, you have a blue Saiyan card. In rest mode, your leader card doesn't take damage from attacks. So this can probably just be better, especially since we're running so many blue Saiyans, and we can just switch our blockers to rest mode, and then if our blockers live, for example, if our Kefla lives in block, you know, if you block with your Kefla, and then you have this, then it just keeps going on. So I think this is a good card for what you're doing as well, and that might just be better. It also has a -1, choose up 2 of your opponent's battle cards, return them to your owner's hand, then choose up to 1 mono blue Saiyan, original energy cost of 2 or less, and play with the skills negated for the turn. So obviously you can play your Keflas with this. You don't get their skills, you don't get the draw 2, discard 1, but being able to play something for free is, I think this is probably just a better Unison for what we're doing. Obviously Majin Buu is very strong too, but I think this is a good alternative to try out, just because once again you can get like the I don't know, it makes your opponent deal with what you're having to do, and I think that's kind of nice. I don't think this one has, the Rats doesn't have dual attack, but we also do have the 4-drop Go tanks too. So this is kind of like the leader that came out, or sorry, the Unison that came with the leader too. A dual attack blocker, -2 to draw 2 or -3 to choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and place them at the bottom of the owner's deck in any order. So I really like this Unison as well, especially since he's very poppable, which means that you can get the your leader effect activates when you're using the, when one of your Unisons, our battle cards get KO'd, right? So if one of your Unison cards get KO'd, you still get the -1, or you get the ability of the +1 energy and draw a card too. So that can be really nice. And this is dual attack, and it's very aggressive well. So I think these are just some alternative targets for that as well. I don't think it's set in stone for Majin Buu. And if we're playing, trying to play something a little bit more centered to the archetype, I think probably Buu just seems super strong. He's never the worst choice, but it might want to do the Goku from the set, just because you have so many blue Saiyans that can be in rest mode because they're blockers, and you get the benefits from that as well. What else do we have? I think that's more or less it. It's a pretty flexible deck. You can wait until what your opponent is doing. You can react to it very, very well, and it's very complex. I really like what it does, and I appreciate all of that. So that is it for me. I hope you guys enjoy this list. If you, once again, want to see some gameplay from it, please hit the like button, and when we hit to 50 likes in the first week, we will upload some commentated gameplay of the list. But that will be it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it.